Hello, you found Miss Barr's coffee table again. And by now, you found 2 old books that we've already read. And here's our new one. And just because there's only 2, there are lots more Diane deGroat books with Gilbert in them. And we've read quite a few of them back at school. And you remember that a lot of times Gilbert makes mistakes, but he finds a way to solve them. This one is called Happy Birthday to You. You belong in a zoo. And they're always written and illustrated by Diane deGroat. And this gave me a clue. And because it said happy birthday, I was thinking it was Gilbert's birthday. Let's see if I was right. Happy birthday to you. You belong in a zoo. And look, there's a card and it says to Gilbert. And this end page gives us a clue about something that happened even before the first page in the book. And it also gives us evidence about what kind of animal Lola and her brother Gilbert are. Right there is your evidence. And then a lot of books have dedications. That means the authors and the illustrators want to dedicate their work to someone they care about. And so this says, happy birthday, dear Janice. Happy birthday to you. So she knows someone named Janice she wanted to dedicate this birthday book to. All right, where's our setting? Where is Gilbert right now? And there's that card we saw earlier. I got mail, Gilbert shouted. He waved a blue envelope over his head. See, he said, it has my name on it. Father put down his shopping list and had a look. Gilbert, he spelled. Why, it is for you, Gilbert. Who sent it? Gilbert pulled out the card. It had a picture of a cake and candles on the front. Inside, it said, come to a birthday party for Lewis on Saturday at 3 o'clock. P.S. Bring a present. Do you remember the problem that Gilbert had in the Valentine book with Lewis? All right, there they are looking at the card. That sounds like fun, Father said, but Gilbert made a face. No, it doesn't. Lewis isn't my friend. I don't want to go to his party, and I don't want to give him a present. Mother said, Lewis wants you to be there, Gilbert. That sounds like something a friend would ask. Gilbert thought about that. Maybe Lewis really did want Gilbert to be his friend. Maybe Lewis would be nice to Gilbert at the party and not tease him like he did in school. You'll have a good time, Mother said, and we can shop for a present after school tomorrow. Okay, does this look like shopping for a present? Where do you think the setting is right now? When Gilbert got to school the next morning, he saw Lewis on the playground playing catch with Frank. Now that Gilbert was Lewis's friend, he could play catch too. He ran over and asked, can I play? Later, Lewis said, but the bell rang before Gilbert could play and everyone had to go inside. Was this them playing? Or did we have to wait for the words to match this set of pictures? At lunch, Gilbert tried to sit next to Lewis, but Lewis wouldn't move over to make room. Gilbert sat next to Patty instead. I thought you didn't like Lewis, Patty said. He's my friend now, Gilbert answered. He wants me to come to his party on Saturday. I wasn't invited, Patty said. I guess I'm not his friend. Okay, the setting switched again, didn't it? At recess, Mrs. Bird passed out jump ropes and rubber balls. And by the time Gilbert and Patty got there, they were all taken. Wait here, Gilbert said to Patty. I'll ask my friend Lewis if we can play ball with him. Can you find Lewis? Gilbert waved and called to Lewis, but Lewis didn't hear him because there was so much noise. Gilbert had to shout, can we play too? No, Lewis shouted back. Why not? Gilbert asked. We have too many players already, Lewis said. Oh, Gilbert said. Gilbert followed Lewis onto the ball field and said, thanks for inviting me to your party. What? Lewis said. Gilbert yelled into Lewis's ear. I said I'm coming to your party on Saturday. Lewis caught the ball and threw it to home plate. The bell rang and recess was over. He turned to Gilbert and said, my mother made me invite all the boys in the class. That's why you got an invitation. And you better bring me a present, too, if you want any cake and ice cream. Does that sound like a good way to have friends come to your party? Oh, the settings switched again. Where are they now? The words will tell us. After school, Mother took Gilbert to the big mart to shop for the party. Gilbert knew he had to bring a present because he wanted cake and ice cream, but he really didn't want to give Lewis anything except maybe a smelly old shoe. They walked up and down the toy aisle. Mother picked up a glow-in-the-dark ball. "Look, Gilbert," she said, "does Lewis like to play ball?" Now, think if this makes sense or if it's the truth. "Lewis doesn't like to play ball. He hates it. He would be very upset if I gave him a ball." Mother said, I see. Then Mother picked up a new toy that Gilbert hadn't seen before. "Do you think Lewis would like this, Gilbert?" It was a Martian spaceship, and it was the perfect size for Gilbert's Martian space pilot action figures. When he pushed the buttons, it made rocket noises. "I like it," Gilbert announced. "I want it for me." Mother said, "We'll get one to put away for your birthday next month, but you can't have it until then. And we can get one for Lewis, too." But Gilbert said, "Lewis will hate that. He will be very upset if I give him a Martian spaceship." I see," Mother said. "And what would Lewis like for his birthday?" The housewares section was at the end of the toy aisle. Gilbert walked over and picked up a frying pan. "Here's a nice present," he said. "Would you give your friends a frying pan?" "Are you sure?" Mother asked. "Yes," Gilbert answered. "This is a perfect gift. I want to give this to Lewis." "You are absolutely sure?" Mother repeated. "Very absolutely," Gilbert said, dropping the pan into the cart. And all the way home he sang, "Happy birthday to you. You belong in a zoo. You look like a monkey. And you smell like one too." Now where did the settings switch to? On Saturday, Gilbert rang Lewis's doorbell, trying hard not to drop the present. His mother had wrapped it in bright paper and ribbons, and Gilbert couldn't wait to see Lewis's face when he opened it. Lewis answered the door. "It's about time," he said. "Come on, we're playing musical chairs, and we need one more person." All the boys from Mrs. Bird's class were inside, and they started running around the chairs as soon as the music started. Lewis was the first one out. "No fair," he whined. "It's my birthday." The game continued until only Gilbert and Kenny were left. When the music stopped, Gilbert got the seat, and Kenny sat down right on top of him. Gilbert was squished, but he had won the game. Lewis handed him a prize. It was a Martian space pilot action figure, one that Gilbert didn't have. After the games, it was time for cake and ice cream. Gilbert's stomach began to hurt when he remembered his present. He wasn't mad at Lewis anymore. He hoped that everyone would go home before Lewis opened his gifts. But Lewis suddenly jumped from the table and shouted, "Presents!" Nobody went home, did they? And what do you think is inside Gilbert's present? Is that it right there? The boys sat in a circle around the gifts, and Lewis opened them one by one. There were video games, a truck, a glow-in-the-dark kickball. Gilbert kept an eye on the door, hoping his mother would come to pick him up. When there was one present left, Gilbert felt like he was going to wet his pants. Why is Gilbert so worried? "This one's from Gilbert," Lewis announced, holding up the brightly wrapped package. "And boy, is it heavy!" Gilbert didn't know what he was going to do. Maybe he could say that his mother gave him the wrong gift and that he would bring the right one to school on Monday. He closed his eyes and waited for Lewis to say something. Lewis did say something. He said, "Wow! Thanks, Gilbert!" Is it what you expected it to be? Gilbert opened his eyes and saw Lewis holding a brand new Martian spaceship with flashing lights and rocket noises. Gilbert was very quiet when his mother came to pick him up. "How was the party?" she finally asked him as they walked home. "Fine." "Did you have a good time?" "Yes." "Did you have cake and ice cream?" "Yes." "Did Lewis like his present?" "Yes." When they got home, Father was busy cooking. "This new frying pan is great," he said. "Would you like some apple pancakes, Gilbert?" Gilbert was about to say that he wasn't hungry when Mother said, "Oh my, that frying pan looks like Louis's birthday present. I must have given you the wrong gift. Gilbert, I hope Louis was not too upset when he got a spaceship instead of a frying pan." Gilbert smiled and said, "No, it was the perfect gift." He gave Mother a hug. Then he ate 3 large apple pancakes with maple syrup. And who do you think that is? And what do you think Gilbert will get for his birthday? Thank you for reading with me. Bye now.